Hello, my name is Reshama Shaikh, and I'm going to show an example of using Gitpod to contribute to PyMC. I'd like to acknowledge Ben Mears for creating the PyMC Gitpod container and Sangam Swadik for testing the container, and I wrote up the Gitpod documentation. Okay, so let's go to what is Gitpod? Okay. Gitpod is a browser-based development environment, and what that means is that you can contribute to an open source project on a browser. These are the benefits to using Gitpod. Some of them, which is we can bypass local computer configuration and technical issues because people have all different environments and setups and computers that they're using. Operating platforms such as Linux, Mac, Windows. We can also save time by using a pre-configured virtual environment for contributing to open source, and we can save space on our local computer as well. And so these instructions are specifically to contribute to the PyMC repo. The PyMC devs project has a lot of different repositories, and for this one, it's the PyMC repo. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to fork the PyMC devs repo. So we come here. You can hit fork here and then specify where you want to do it. For me, it already exists under mine, and I'm going to show it's right here. Reshama S is my username /PyMC, and it's forked from there. Okay. Next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a Gitpod account if you don't already have one. So I'm going to go to gitpod.io. All right, and I can log into gitpod.io with my GitHub account. And I've authorized it. All right. So back to the instructions, Gitpod will show up as authorized application in your GitHub account here. You can confirm it by checking it. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to grant GitHub /Gitpod integration permissions so these two applications can speak to each other. So if I go to user integrations, so if I go to user, actually, I believe it's here, user settings, integrations, there we go. And I go to GitHub because that's the application I'm using. I just want to double check that my permissions are set. So by default, these aren't checked. So you want to check public repo, repo, and workflow. All right. And for me, they've already been set. So I'm going to close that. Back to the instructions. So this explains that. Within Gitpod, I'm going to create a new workspace. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to go to workspaces up here. Notice it's gitpod.io /workspaces. I'm going to hit create new workspace. And in here, I want to put in my forked repo here, right? So it's going to be Reshama S PyMC. So let's go back here. Can I find it? Yep, there we go. So if you can't find it, you can copy and paste it in there just as I did. This we're going to keep the default, but you can explore it later as well. And going to select new workspace. It's going to take a bit of time to build the image, especially the first time that it's set up. Notice the time is 9:45 a.m. We can check the time to see, how long it takes for it to build that first time. Meanwhile, I'm just going to check the Gitpod pull a container, set the workspace. Once Gitpod is up and running, interface is similar to Visual Studio Code interface, which will appear in the browser. We'll see installation notices in the terminal window. This can take 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're going to look for this. So let's go back and see how this building image is going so far. So here we go. Notice it's 9:49, so it took about 4 to 5 minutes. We see the Visual Studio Code interface. This is the welcome screen at the top. This is the terminal. There's Git Lens, which tells us history of files. I'm going to close that for a bit. And notice we're down here. So there we go. Okay. The working environment has been set up with MicroMamba, which is a small, pure C++ executable with enough functionalities to bootstrap fully functional Conda environments. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to type git remo -v, and notice that origin is my forked repo, Reshama, and upstream is that, which is great. Okay. What else am I going to check? The next thing that I'm going to check is I'm going to check to see what version do I have of PyMC. So it's pip list pipe grep PyMC. Pip list pipe grep PyMC. So it looks like it's version 5.1.1 and PyMC Sphinx is 0.01. Okay. And then I'm going to check the version of Python. So it's Python's 3 -- version, Python 3 -- version. So that's 3.11. That's always good to do. And then we're set. And so next that I'm going to do is I'm going to do an example PR. And this is a reminder, to follow the Git workflow just as we do with other contributions, with other libraries. When we work locally, is we create a feature branch and we do that. All right. So I'm going to work on this issue. And what it is that in this index file right here, there are a number of ways that people can contribute to PyMC, and I'm going to add one more item to this list. Okay. And so the raw file is that one, which is under docs source contributing index. So let's find that file. So if I come here under docs source contributing, and let me just double check what that was, contributing index. That's what it was. So the index file right here. Okay. Just gonna put this down here. And so what it says is right here. Below there are some examples of non-code or non-doc contributions that could serve as an inspiration. If you have other ideas, let us know on Discourse. And so reporting a bug, answering questions on Discourse, teach about PyMC, help plan PyMC Con, help with outreach. And so I'm going to add, I'm going to say add timestamps to videos from PyMC Con. Okay. And so that is going to be, I'm going to make this a markdown. So I'm going to say timestamps to videos. I'm going to put it over here. Okay. And back here. And so this is the link that I want to add right here. Here we go. So back here, I'm going to add that. Okay. There we go. All right. So that is there. The next thing that I'm going to do, let's see, is this a preview? There we go. So we can see the preview just like add videos. If I click on it, it brings me to the timestamps. That's good. It lets me know that it's working. I'm going to close that. All right. And then back to our Git workflow. So if I do clear, does it bring me to the top? Yes. Great. Okay. I'm going to do Git status. And it tells me that this file under docs source contributing index has been changed. All right. So I need to create a feature branch. So I'm going to say git checkout -b rs, and I'm going to say contributing, and I'm going to say timestamps. There we go. I'm going to do git status, and it tells me that. Then I'm going to say git add docs source contributing index. There we go. If I do git status, that is now green. All right. And then I'm going to do git commit -m, and I'm going to say add timestamps to list of possible non-code contributions. There we go. All right. So it looks like these are pre-commit that has checked. Okay. They've passed or they're skipped, so it looks like it's okay. So now I'm going to do git, double check. I'm going to do git push origin, and my branch name was rs-contributing timestamps. I hit tab there to fill it in. There we go. Okay, cool. So I'm going to hit git status here. All right. So now I'm going to come here and I'm going to refresh this. And notice I have rs contributing timestamps. I'm going to create a pull request here. Add timestamps to list of possible non-code contributions. What is this PR about? You know, I think I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to add that here. I'm going to make this a doc type contribution, I'd say. It's a documentation contribution. Make sure they do pass. That's good. And I'm also going to say that this is towards the issue. What's the issue that it was? It's towards issue 6564. So I'm going to say 6564. Okay, there we go. We can reference the issue and link relevant issues, which I just did. Are the files covered by tests? This is a documentation. So the breaking changes, features, documentation. There we go. Okay. I am now going to, this stays checked, allow edits by maintainers. I'm going to create pull request. You know, one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this and I'm going to put a note here. And I'm going to say, this PR was submitted using Gitpod. Okay. If I worked with somebody, I would copy them. I'm going to do update comment. There we go. So what's happening here is that some checks are running, pre-commit, things like that on various platforms. So that's going to take a little bit of time to go through. So it's about 9:57. It's going to take a few minutes. Okay. While that's running, I'm going to go back to the using Gitpod instructions. All right. And I've done, this is the Git workflow, add file, commit, push to the feature branch. So I'm going to go over billing. The Gitpod free plan currently allows 500 free credits per month. And this is something that could be updated, so it's good to check. So if I come here to the billing section, under user, it tells me how many credits I have left, the current period. If I want to check my usage as well, I can check my usage by month. If I go back, pay as you go. So this is an interesting option. There's also information here about, Gitpod, it's a temporary workspace. And so we can do things like, it may take a while for the maintainer to review this. And so it's, for example, what it says is workspaces after 30 minutes, it becomes inactive. Workspaces are deleted after 2 weeks. Pinned workspaces are never deleted and you can pin it. So if I come here, let me come back here. I'm going to go to the workspaces. As I'm still waiting for the maintainer to review it, I'm going to pin this. Okay. And after my PR, after I'm sort of done with this, I'm actually going to stop this workspace to save some billing credits. But in the meantime, I'm going to let this run. All right. And so that's an example of how to contribute to the PyMC library using this library right here, this repository right here, using Gitpod. And the checks are still running.